So, I'm 5 hours out from watching Avengers Endgame. It's 3 o'clock right now, and the movie starts at 7. Hey dudes, what's up? It's an Assassin. So, I really don't know what I'm doing with this video. I just knew I needed to get everything off my chest and just kind of talk right now. So as you heard, I am 5 hours out from watching Avengers Endgame. So this is Nicole pre-Avengers Endgame. I haven't been spoiled anything, not that I know of. I know, from the trailers and stuff, I know a little bit, and there's been some little things on Tumblr that I've seen, but nothing too big. I've just seen speculations and stuff. And I woke up at 11 today, 10, 11. Well, I woke up at 10 and then stayed in bed for an hour.
Relatable. That happens to me too.
And I'm anxious. I'm scared. For the past week has been interesting with all of this, with counting down to Endgame, especially since I've been PMSing, because love being female. But especially the past 2 days, I have been anxious and scared, and it's a lot. It's been a lot. Just the countdown to Endgame, to the point where my stomach, I'm so nauseous right now. I forced myself to eat a few hours ago because I have to eat today. And hopefully I don't get sick during Endgame, because it's a 3-hour long movie and I don't want to get up during it. But it's been bad. I know it's crazy and it's oh, it's just a movie, but Endgame is so much, 11 years, 22 movies, I've put my heart and soul into Marvel. If that sounds a little extreme, but I was 8 when Iron Man 1 came out, and now I'm 19, almost 20, and it's so weird and hard to think about, because Marvel has been there every turning point of my life, at 8, you're a small little kid in elementary school doing whatever elementary school kids do. And then 13, you're in middle school, you're doing, you're becoming a teenager, you're trying to figure yourself out. And then, 16, you're in high school, you're driving, you're trying to figure yourself out. 18, you're illegally an adult, you're still trying to figure yourself out, figure out what you want to do in the future. And now I'm 19, almost 20, and there's still a lot on my plate, There's still a lot to think about and a lot to put thought into and just work through. And Marvel movies have been there every step of the way, And Marvel has been there through all of the turning points in my life. My first ever panic attack, Iron Man 3 was there. That was probably the pinnacle for me with superheroes and becoming a nerd and all that. It was Iron Man 3, and I was in middle school, and I'm anxious and just moved to a new place, and just a lot was going on, and I had a panic attack. And your first panic attack is scary. It's really, really scary. And then to see a superhero that at the time was, my favorite, or at least before Iron Man 3, I like superheroes, but it wasn't like a big thing in my life. And then after Iron Man 3, it became a huge thing. So Iron Man 3, Iron Man specifically, was always my favorite character, but I never cared, really. Like, it was just kind of whatever. You know, these movies are cool, I'll watch them, but then to see a character that I represent with so much go through PTSD and go through a panic attack and like all these things and just not being able to understand what's happening to him and trying to figure out what's happening to him and figure out like how to help himself and all those things. It really affected me. It was really like, people go through this. And so ever since then, Marvel movies have been this, you know, like rock in my life, right? Something that's always going to be there. Like I can always turn to. I love watching Ant-Man because it's just like a funny, hilarious movie. I love watching Iron Man 3 because my whole heart is entirely for that movie. I love Age of Ultron. Winter Soldier is just a badass fighting movie to watch, you know? And so it's difficult to start preparing for Endgame, right? And like, yes, I have a lot of anxiety right now, but when Infinity War came out, I wasn't anxious at all. I was horribly excited and just ready for this next step in Marvel Cinematic Universe history. I was ready. And then everyone died. Everyone. Not everyone, but like Spider-Man specifically. He hurt me. Like, part of my soul was just crushed during the Spider-Man thing. And like, yeah, people always say like, oh, why'd you get affected by Infinity War? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's coming back. He's having another movie. And it's like, that's not the point. You know? I'm not watching a movie knowing that there's going to be another movie next to it, right? I'm going in and watching a movie for the enjoyment of it. And I don't think about other movies, you know? Like, I know the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I go into Avengers Infinity War completely open book, like, you know, I know the history, but also I'm going to not care about what's in the future, you know? So, yes, Infinity War affected me, all of it. And so, I'm anxious about Endgame, about what's going to happen. Like, yeah, I know the heroes are gonna come back, but it can't just be that clean. You know? And the worst thing of it all is that a lot of actors are leaving Marvel, or at least their contracts are up. And it hurts. It hurts. Specifically, you know, Chris Evans' contract is ending, and I'm really worried for him. I'm really worried about Captain America dying. And I'm worried about Tony Stark a lot. I don't think they're gonna kill him. RDJ has been, since the beginning, all this stuff. You know, he started all of this, and his movies do well, so like, don't kill your moneymaker, right? But I'm still worried. And you can kind of hear the little bit cracking in my voice. And promised myself I would not cry during this, even though I've been crying the past week just thinking about Endgame. And I watched Infinity War and was crying thinking about Endgame. It's just like, I'm worried, you know? Not only is it Endgame, it's 11 years in the making and all of this stuff, and the heroes have lost so much, but it is the actor's last movie, you know? And we don't know that for a fact, but Chris Evans has really been leaning into it's his last movie, and we know RDJ, his contract is up, and Black Widow is supposed to have a movie, but I assume is probably going to be a prequel, and Jeremy Renner is supposed to do a Hawkeye TV show, and I don't know what's up with Hulk, and supposedly they're looking for Thor 4, so Chris Hemsworth can come back, but it's still all up in the air right now until I watch Endgame, and it just sucks, and I'm scared, and I want Tony to have the life he deserves, and I'm scared that Marvel's not going to give it to him, and that's where like most of my anxiety is coming from, because I love Tony all of my heart, everything, just every single part of my heart and soul loves Tony, because I feel so represented with him. You know, when people are like, oh, hey, you're in fandoms and stuff, like, what are, like, the 5 characters that represent you? Tony. And it's like, I don't even have to say another character, because I am Tony Stark. And it's funny to say that, and it's on my Tumblr description or whatever, that I am Tony Stark, the female version of Tony Stark, but, like, I honest to God feel that. To the point where I've gotten into so many arguments in defense of Tony Stark. A lot. And it hurts me when I have friends that hate Tony. Or I meet someone and they just immediately hate Tony and all this stuff. You know, just this hate for him. Because I feel personally attacked. And like, that seems like a lot and such like a social media thing to say, but I do. You know? When someone hates Tony, I feel like they hate a part of me. Because I am Tony Stark. My personality is Tony Stark, and my anxiety is, you know, same as Tony Stark, and I'm not rich nor a guy, but there's just I feel so connected to Tony Stark, and for people to hate him, it hurts me. And he is literally the only character in my entire life that I love that I feel this way about. You know, well, people can hate whoever they want, right? Like, you hate Grant Gustin the Flash, like, yeah, that sucks, and I don't like you for that. But it's like, I won't get personally offended if you say you hate Grant Gustin the Flash. But if you say you hate RDJ, Tony Stark, Iron Man, you hate me. That's it. That's all there is. You can't like me and then not like Tony Stark, or vice versa. Like, you just can't. We're one and the same, and I feel so connected to Tony Stark, and I'm just worried. I'm worried what Marvel's gonna do to him. I'm just worried. I want Tony to get everyone back and not lose anyone else and have his happily ever after, you know? And it's a part of, I love him so much and that's what I want for him, but it's also like, if he can get his happy ending, even after everything, you know, after being an arms dealer and then realizing his wrongs and becoming a hero, after creating Ultron and everyone blaming him for no reason. I still have issues about Age of Ultron, okay? But, like, you know, Scarlet Witch showing him his fear, and that's why he created Ultron. Besides the point, but, you know, he got over that, and then in Civil War, he was so offended by what Steve did. And in Civil War, he realized Avengers hurt people, and superheroes hurt people, and, like, this whole entire time, Tony's been the guy that's, like, the government shouldn't have control of his suits. Like, you saw that in Iron Man 2. But in Civil War, he realized, like, they hurt people, like on accident, but people die. And he kind of like took that to heart and then signed the accords. And then to find out your best friend slash I ship them, so husband, knew that your parents got assassinated and weren't in a car crash, hurt him a lot. And so him and Steve have been broken up since Civil War, and this is their first meeting, and I'm scared, and I want the Steve. If you watched any of my other videos, like, you know, I want my Steve and Tony to reunite and become best friends, because I know how hurt Tony was, you know, and we've all been there, like, when you think you have a best friend and they rip your heart out, they stab you in the back. And it's like, and I know where Steve was coming from, but I also know why Tony was angry, and I get why he was angry. So it's hard. And I have a lot of issues with Steve Rogers. Don't get me wrong. But I love him. I still love him. And I still love him with Tony. And I love their dynamic. And I love Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.'s dynamic. And so I'm hoping they get their ending. Their good, happy ever after ending. I'm just worried about that, you know. And I also want Tony to get married to Pepper. I want Tony to get married to Steve, but probably Pepper. And I want Tony to retire, and I want Tony to have kids and, you know, finish his arc. His arc has been going from this billionaire playboy philanthropist in Iron Man 1, who's an arms dealer and nobody likes him, to just a married guy with an adopted son named Peter Parker, and he's trying to save the world. He's putting the whole entire universe on his shoulders. And I just want him to have that ending where he can finally take off all the stress and take off all the pain and just retire and just live a happy life with Pepper and Morgan, his daughter. That's what I want. And I'm just worried about Marvel not giving it to him, or giving it to him but also taking away everything from him. And I'm really worried about Steve sacrificing himself for Tony, because that will hurt. That'll hurt me, and that'll hurt Tony. One and the same, right? And like, sorry this video is like kind of emotional, but it's 11 years, you know. And you can't see this around my room, but I have so much Iron Man stuff. Like, I have so much Iron Man stuff, and it's just, I'm so connected to him, and I love him so much. And you know, my dream tattoo is an arc reactor on my chest. There's a lot of reasons why I want the arc reactor. One of most, you can kind of assume I love Tony Stark, I love Iron Man, I feel represented in him, so an arc reactor kind of is the symbol of Tony. There's also a few other things dealing with, like Iron Man 1, where it says proof that Tony Stark has a heart, and there's just a lot that I need from this tattoo. And I don't know when I'm gonna get it, but I will. I know I will, because there's just sometimes where I literally feel the tattoo. Like, I feel it. Like, I just, like, there's just sometimes where I feel a circle on my chest and like this burning need to get this tattoo. And there's also, I would really love to get a full sleeve of the Iron Man arm, but I don't know about that one. We'll see. But yeah, I feel like I should just make a whole video about Tony Stark and just ramble on. Technically, this video definitely seems like just a Tony Stark thing, but truly this is like me getting my feelings out before I watch Endgame. And then tomorrow I'm going to film after Endgame, like what's up in my head. But I love Tony. I love Tony so much, and I'm just scared. And I have a lot of anxiety, and I've been watching Dolan Twins all day, because I found out that when I'm anxious, whenever I've been anxious, I normally go to YouTube and watch videos and like calm down, and it normally takes like 3 or 4 videos to calm down, but Dolan Twins, it only takes a video, and I love them, and they're precious, and I just been like going through their videos, because I'll watch a video of theirs and then be like, okay, cool, I'm not anxious anymore, and then I've been catching up with the superhero TV shows, and then an Avengers trailer comes on, and then my stomach will go sick, and I'll get anxious again, I'll get nauseous, and then I watch another Dolan Twins video and calm down again, and so it's kind of a big giant circle of things that, you know, I kind of feel like I'm hurting myself, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff riding on Endgame, you know? And I hope they do Tony justice. I hope the Russo brothers do Tony justice. I need them to do Tony justice. You know? Because if he doesn't get his happy ending, I don't know what that means. Like if Tony dies, I don't know. It's just, if Tony dies, I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't. And it's scary, because I've never been so connected to one character, and it hurts, and I don't know what to do if he dies. If he dies, there's a part of me who will die with him. And that seems dramatic, but it's not. It's my true, honest feelings. If Tony dies, something in me will leave. You know? Like when Tony got stabbed in Infinity War. I was not okay, but now he's fine. I get to see him starve though, so. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up before I cry on camera. Woo! But I just have a lot of emotions with Endgame, and I definitely feel better getting these out there and on camera, so I can kind of put all the weight off my chest. 11 years of weight off my chest. So yeah, I'm gonna go get ready to watch Endgame. As you can see, I have a necklace, or not a necklace, but a hand bracelet thing for the gauntlet, and I got Iron Man shoes, and I got my Avengers sweater, and I got Stony socks. So I don't know if I'm going to make this its own separate video and then have after Endgame its own separate video. I'll see, but I'll do the intro now just in case. But yeah. Hope you dudes did enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe button with your post last, come part of AU Avengers Unlimited, and hit that like button with your I almost said battering. This is like, I'm telling you, I'm a little out of it. With your hidden blade. Comment down below if you have any connections to any characters like I do. I know a lot of people probably will feel really connected to Steve and will suck if he dies, and I get it. But I'm scared for Tony. I mean, my channel is literally called Iron Assassin because my 2 favorite things in the world are Iron Man and Assassin's Creed, so Iron Assassin. So you know, Iron Man means a lot to me, and Marvel means a lot to me, so. I'll see you after Endgame. I hope I enjoy it. And I hope Tony gets the life he deserves. Alright. Bye!